A while ago, I got the idea in my head that I wanted to make the most useless possible invention in Minecraft. I tried a few designs. A door that closes on you when you get close. A grinder that only grinds bats. But I found that even the most ridiculous of designs has a purpose. That door is mighty helpful for keeping nosy neighbors away, and the bat grinder made me laugh like a little schoolgirl. Even the most simple builds, like a 1x1 dirt block, could conceivably be used as a ladder or a key. I wanted to make something entirely useless. Something so useless it will, by definition, never fulfill its use. So I made a door that will only open once the universe ends. And I'm not talking about the Minecraft universe, I mean the universe, the whole thing. All the molecules, and all the stars, and all the life, and death, and fire, and ice, and celebrities, and governments, everything. And this is it. The universal death clock. It has a lower setting of about 8 seconds, and an upper setting of about 1 Google years. I don't blame you if that word sounds unfamiliar or unimpressive because it's not used very often, but 1 Google is the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. Think of it as a billion times a billion times a billion times a billion times a billion, and on and on and on and on until your number looks like this. This timer lasts a little bit longer than that. If you're asking yourself how it works, it's actually pretty simple. Each pair of hoppers has 320 items between them, the maximum number for one hopper. After all of the items have moved from one hopper to the other, that clock sends 1 pulse to the next timer. The first clock counts down on its own, but the second clock requires a pulse from the previous one to move each item. That means it takes each clock 320 times longer to fire than the previous one. The first clock pulses in about 4 minutes, multiply that by 320 and you get the delay for the second clock, 23 hours. Now, the easy part was hooking the timers together. The hard part was determining exactly how many hopper clocks we would need. I mean, you wouldn't want to build too many and overshoot the end of the universe, that would just be wasteful. So I set up this spreadsheet that shows exactly how long each clock lasts down to the second. If you're into that sort of thing. I discovered that if each clock takes 320 times longer to fire than its predecessor, starting with a base of 256 seconds, it will require 43 timers to reach our goal of 1 Google years, which is when all of the matter and energy in the known universe will have decayed into nothingness. The first clock won't take long to move all of its items. A little over 4 minutes. In that time, most of us will have blinked a few times, maybe a nose or two has been picked. Small stuff. The second clock is a little more ambitious. 22 hours from now, it will finish its cycle, and most people who have watched this video will forget what they saw and will likely never think about it ever again. By the time the third clock is finished, the seasons will have changed and changed back again. It'll take 303 days. In that time, a good percentage of people will have gotten bored of Minecraft and uninstalled it. Statistically speaking, a few people who have watched this video that you're watching right now will have died. And that is all we'll ever get to see in our lifetime. But if our grandchildren's 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 grandchildren are watching, they will get to see the 4th unit send 1 quick pulse 266 years from today. Let's hope that the computer running this thing is able to last that long. Maybe God himself will see our experiment and send it to another dimension where it can carry out its task? Probably not, but, it's fun to pretend. A lot will happen during the era of the 5th clock. It will take 85,000 years to complete its cycle. To put that in perspective, humans evolved 100,000 years ago and developed modern behaviors only about 50,000 years ago. It's safe to assume that by the time this unit pulses, nothing we know about ourselves will be the same. If we haven't killed ourselves by this time, every nation and religion in the world today will have given way to something else. Every human being who has ever fought and died for their beliefs, their religion, or their freedom will have been forgotten. If modern humans are even still around, their factions and behaviors would seem completely alien to us today. 85,000 years from now, this clock will finish its cycle and send its first pulse to the 6th clock. Before the 6th unit is finished, 27 million years will have passed. By this time, humans will no longer exist. Whether we evolve or die trying remains to be seen, but either way, Homo sapiens will have had their moment in the spotlight. If our offspring look back on our accomplishments at all, they will probably treat our greatest advances, like nuclear fusion and space travel, with the same level of recognition that we give early humans for inventing fire and agriculture. In this time, we'll get a new cosmic neighbor. Ross 248 will move into position as the closest star to our sun, and VY Canis Majoris will have exploded and produced one of the largest and most spectacular supernovas in the galaxy. It will take almost 9 billion years for the 7th clock to fire its pulse. At the beginning of this period, a massive asteroid will collide with Earth, causing a mass extinction. Our solar system will make a full orbit around the galactic core, 9 times. Our galactic neighbor, Andromeda, who appears to be a harmless blotch in the sky, will crash into the Milky Way, disrupting the orbits of hundreds of billions of stars, an event that could throw our sun out of the portion of the galaxy that enables planets to support life. And if that weren't enough to seal Earth's fate, our sun will expand into a red giant, superheating the Earth and making it completely uninhabitable to life as we know it. And as if the 7th clock timeline wasn't depressing enough, the 8th clock starts putting nails in the coffin. After scorching the solar system, the sun shrinks into a cold black dwarf. Most parts of the universe are no longer producing any new stars, and the night sky starts to go black as the universe has expanded to the point that galaxies beyond our local supercluster are so far away that they can't be seen anymore. Any intelligent life that arises after this time will likely never know the true size of the universe, because they will only see what is near their own galaxy. This clock will take almost 3 trillion years to fire, and it represents the beginning of the end for our universe. The 9th clock will take almost a quadrillion years to fire its pulse. By the time it's done, the sky is almost completely dark. Most planets that still exist will be left without any stars to provide them with light or energy. And in fact, most light and energy in the universe has been completely dispersed, and the bits that remain are either withering away or being consumed by black holes. As the stars and black holes slowly start dissipating, our universe begins to breathe its last breath. For trillions of years, nothing happens. After the last star has died, there's nothing left in the universe except for black holes for an unimaginably long period of time, and even they are slowly dying. It took 9 clocks to reach this point, but it won't be until the 43rd clock that the last black hole has finally dissipated. The universe has been reduced to its component particles, and the distances between these particles are so great that they will never interact with one another ever again. There will be nothing left of our universe except for a cold, dark void forever expanding into nothingness. And only then will this door open.